Welcome to LSB Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
If you just say, don't have sex, they're thinking, well, what are you talking about? I got all these feelings, I got all these hormones rushing, and you're not answering my question, so I'm going to just have to figure this out for myself.
I agree totally. I've had the privilege of taking care of some AIDS patients in the past, and if they could just understand what that disease is in itself alone, I guarantee you that's enough to scare anybody.
I don't know. I'd like to find out why we hide our heads in the sand so much, why we just refused. I think it's because we have our own problems. Because we are not confident with our own sexuality as adults, so we have this problem with communication. It's not really so much sexuality; it's just communicating any kind of information to young people. We think that they can't handle it, when in fact it's not the young kids' problem; it's our problem. We're the ones who get nervous and all bent out of shape and really scared and worrisome when it comes to this kind of stuff. We don't know what to say to young people when it comes to things of a sexual nature. They're better able to handle it than we are. Providing them with the info. Rick, you're on Real Radio.
Jim, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm the bed man. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to say a word about Stormy, if we can still have time for that.
Mike Storms at Channel 6. What about him?
Yesterday we were talking about him giving opinions on sports matters, particularly Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to catch your opinion on that, but I think he talks a little bit too much, and he's not knowledgeable enough about sports. That's my opinion.
Well, I don't watch Mike Storms enough because I don't care that much for Mike Storms to watch him. I think he's more of a showman than he is anything else. My personal opinion, his days are numbered. I'd be surprised to see him last out the rest of the year at Channel 6. I think Channel 6 is on the move. I think Channel 6 is in there with a broom, and I think they're sweeping people aside, and I don't know anything, and I hope I haven't ruined his day, but I don't think Mike Storms will be doing sports over there by the first of the year. I don't think they have room for him.
Someone had mentioned he might be a better talk show host on a TV talk show, gossip perhaps, and I feel the same way. I don't think he knows enough about sports to be broadcasting.
I think he's full of hot air. Maybe he would be a good talk show host then.
You never know.
Anyway, have a great weekend.
Take care. You do the same.
Stay cool. Time for news. Then we'll take some more of your phone calls if any are there. The quicker you call, the quicker we get you on the air. Lines are open, by the way. 647-1041. Talking a little bit about sex education or lack thereof here in Central Florida. And some other things as well. Or if you'd just like to shoot the breeze this hot Friday afternoon in Central Florida, be our guest. We'd love to hear from you. It's time for News with Kathy, then more of your phone calls. It's 401 on Real Radio 104.1.
WTKS Cocoa Beach, Orlando. The Howard Stern Station. Real Radio. Real Radio 104.1 News.
Well, how about this? The perfect touchdown to a historic flight. Good afternoon. I'm Kathy Taylor with news and information from Real Radio 104.1. Your fast traffic, along with Alan Casper's forecast, is just ahead. Norm Thagard says he wants to walk off that space shuttle Atlantis. Nah, he couldn't do it today. He's been in space too long, 115 days with no gravity. You wouldn't be walking either. The Jacksonville native was carried off the space station Atlantis, or actually the space shuttle Atlantis, along with the rest of the mere 18 astronauts who've been in space for 4 months. The deplaning of the astronauts happened about 4 or 5 hours ago. Shuttle Atlantis landed at Kennedy Space Center at 11 o'clock this morning. Well, they didn't have to carry Governor Childs today. The 65-year-old governor walked out of a Tallahassee hospital, smiling and grinning like a chess cat, saying he felt very good. Childs shrugged off a so-called little stroke that left him dizzy, nauseated, and discombobulated. Doctors say there's no permanent damage at all. Hey, fellas, listen up. Those of you with an impotency problem, the Food and Drug Administration has found something to help you out. It's an injection that can restore sexual function in as little as 5 minutes. The Upjohn Company calls it a Caverject, and you can find it in a drugstore late next month, okay? Prosecutor Marcia Clark says Nicole Brown Simpson may have heard her killer coming and armed herself with a knife. Now, the prosecution already rested their case, so Clark is offering this possible scenario as lawyers argued over which prosecution exhibits should be entered into evidence. Marcia said a photo of a large knife on Nicole Simpson's kitchen counter was relevant because it could indicate she heard an intruder, became afraid, and armed herself. The prosecutor said Mrs. Simpson might have looked outside, but that her killer was hiding and she put the knife down. Then Marcia suggested that when Nicole Simpson went out to meet Ron Goldman, she was attacked and killed. Judge Lance Ito did allow the photo into evidence. Summertime in Finland always draws two groups who just don't get along, humans and mosquitoes. Of course, you don't have to go to Finland for that. You can find that in Florida. The inevitable bloodshed has broken out. Mosquito haters, including Finns, Swedes, and Germans, are readying their reflexes for the third World Championship of Mosquito Killing. It's taking place in Lapland, 600 miles north of Helsinki. Contestants get 5 minutes to kill as many mosquitoes as possible. The record is 7 in 5 minutes, but an exceptionally damp, warm summer has led the smart money to bet that the record will fall by tomorrow's final round. And finally, federal health officials are telling us that the number of measles cases is up sharply. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says nearly 1,000 folks came down with measles last year. That's 3 times the record low number of cases the previous year. Real Radio 104.1 News Time is 6 minutes after 4. Fast traffic and weather coming up next.
What is Real Radio? A, the crap you're listening to right now. B, a couple of maniacs with an FM transmitter. C, the last sign of the apocalypse.
You're right.
Real Radio 104.1.
Orlando's newest and best gun show is this weekend at the Orlando Tupperware Center on Orange Blossom Trail just north of Highway 192. See thousands of new and used guns, knives, military items, safes, gun parts, ammunition, hunting accessories, and personal protection items, all at discount prices at Orlando's newest and best gun show at the Tupperware Center on Orange Blossom Trail. It's this weekend. Open Saturday 9 till 5. Sunday 10 till 5. Admission is only $5 for adults. Children under 12 are free. Plus, there's acres of free parking. And you can take the state concealed weapons permit course offered each day at the show for only $25. Don't miss the huge Orlando Gun Show this weekend, all day Saturday and Sunday at the Orlando Tupperware Center on Orange Blossom Trail just north of Highway 192.
Real Radio 104.1. Fast traffic.
An accident on Apopka Vineland south of A.D. Mims. Another on Lee Road just west of 1792 at Lewis Drive. What is this with I-4 and debris? I tell you, today there's a lot of debris on I-4. First it was eastbound, now it's westbound at Colonial Drive. I don't know what this is. The cops just got there. They don't know what it is. And meanwhile, I-4 is heavy through the Orange Blossom Trail. This is eastbound at the East-West Expressway and then at Fairbanks Avenue. AvMed reminds you, if you can read the license plate in front of you, thank a teacher. If you can't, see an optometrist. AvMed Medical Excellence. I'm Justine Moody on your only FM source for 24-hour traffic. Real Radio 104.1.
Real Radio 104.1 weather for all of Central Florida. It's going to be hot and muggy tonight, down to 75. There might be a shower lingering from late this afternoon, but don't bet on it. High tomorrow going up to 95. Currently, it's 93 degrees in Orlando. When you demand news and information, this is your prime source. I'm Kathy Taylor, Real Radio 104.1.
Real Radio 104.1.
Hello once again. This is Dr. Hajni Rajneesh with some very important information for you to write on your sticky pad. The HMO Superstore now offers to you drive-through medical care. Here, see how it works. Good day. Can I cure you?
Doc, I'm having trouble sleeping.
Okay, next time you go to bed, try holding your breath till everything is black.
Wow, great idea. Thanks, Doc.
You see, now all your problems can be fixed while you eat a burger in your car. And since I do not get to make you cough, my co-payment has been reduced to $5. Yes, me, Haji Rajneesh, and the HMO Superstore have made 21st century medical care affordable for all peoples. Drive in today to the HMO Superstore. Every prescription comes with rice.
Okie dokie. Leave your specimen at the window and have a very nice day.
This is showtime.
Yeah, they're going to roll OJ's mama to the witness stand on Monday.
Stop it.
Didn't she walk into the courtroom? Then she walked, and then did they haven't wheeled her into the courtroom, have they? And when testimony is over, they haven't wheeled her out of there, but all of a sudden they're going to wheel her to the witness stand on Monday.
Well, they don't want to get
poor
all
mama.
shaky. You know, your knees start to getting kind of wobbly. They don't want her to fall down and hit a little noggin.
Bet you $1 she's going to wear a hat, too.
Oh, honey.
And a fan.
You got to have it. She got to have a hat. And she got to put on all of her Sunday go-to-meeting clothes because she's there.
Protecting her baby.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up for her boy.
Yeah, right.
That's
Anybody
my
really
boy.
think that this guy is not guilty? He's getting off. He's walking. There's no question about that.
Yeah. We finally get ours. Whoo, long overdue. Y'all owe us one, so we're taking it now. We're
Right.
cashing in.
In the immortal words of Rodney King. Oh, ow, ow. Oh, stop, ow. That hurt. Ooh.
Get your boot off my neck.
Ow. That really hurt. 647-1041. Long distance, 1-800-443-1041. Goofing around on Friday. What else is that? Oh, did you hear about this American Airlines pilot? Didn't quite, he was flying to Miami, but he lined up the airliner with the Opelika Airport, which is like 20 minutes north of Miami. Ooh. Ow. Yeah, look the thing. From here, I just stuck my head out the window. Look, Hogan. It was South Florida. I knew that. Anyway, he made a turn and lined up with a runway at the Opelika Airport. After the error was discovered, doesn't say who discovered the error, whether it was the co-pilot or the ground controllers, the plane circled back to Miami, where he was supposed to be in the first place.
Gee.
Welcome to beautiful Opelika. Oh, you have to be in Coral Gables. Get a cab. What the hell? It just cost you another $15. See, that's why I don't learn how to fly. I know that I could fly a plane. I know that I could turn it. I know that I could go up and down. I know I could keep it level and all that kind of stuff. I just know that I couldn't get back to wherever I took off from. Is there some kind of like alarm in a plane that goes off that says you have now used half of your fuel and you've gone more than halfway from the airport you took off from? I mean, there's got to be some kind of system. I need a system like that. You are now approaching the halfway point in your fuel supply. Head back now. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to find the airport.
Turn around now.
I could turn it around. I don't think I'd be able to. How do you know one airport from another?
No, they all look the same from the air.
They're not color-coded.
Big sign on the grass or something.
Hey, dummy, this is Abalaka. You don't want to be here.
You are flying over Orlando Executive Airport. You are now flying over Lake Barton. You are now crashing into Lake Barton. It's 4:11 on Real Radio 104.1. A couple of lines are open. We're just goofing around on a Friday afternoon, which is what we like to do from time to time. Ken on a cell phone. Go ahead.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
I usually just drive down the road and listen to you, but you got me today.
Uh-oh.
Sex education in schools.
Yes, sir. What do you think? For it or against it?
Well, first of all, I don't think we even do a very good job teaching our kids how to read and write and add two numbers very well. So I wonder how well of a job our schools would do with sex education.
Yeah, but at least they know something. If they didn't go to school, they wouldn't know anything about adding numbers together.
Well, try this on.
Okay.
I'm a commercial pilot. You just mentioned that. I had to demonstrate to somebody that I had the ability to fly an airplane before I can fly passengers.
Mm-hmm.
I had to demonstrate that I could drive a car before they'd let me get on the road. When are we as a people going to make people demonstrate they can be responsible parents before they become parents in emotions, in knowing how to educate those children, to care and clothe and feed those children, be financially responsible? I mean, when are we going to do that?
That ain't going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. You're absolutely correct. That's not going to happen, and you know that as well as I do.
Well, then we're going to continue to have the problems because I don't think that sex education.
Well, I'm not convinced. That's a real cynical attitude. I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be that cynical. I mean, my God Almighty, if we could put a man on the moon, why can't we have an education system that works in this country? You know, there was a great article by Jonathan Adler in Newsweek a couple of editions ago, and he said, you know, what is wrong with this country? When you really think about it, if we can bring the Apollo 13 astronauts back to Earth like we did in the mid-1960s or whenever the hell it took place, why the hell can't we put together an education system that works? I mean, the operative line is failure is not a word that we'll accept. And all of a sudden in this country, we fail all the time, and we just shrug our shoulders like, well, that's just the way it's supposed to be. I refuse to be that cynical.
Well, what our problem is we've lost common sense. I don't have a problem with sex education, but who's going to set the criterion? if you're going to show a child how to use a condom, but you can't show them how to use it, or even a condom, how can you do that? You can't. You know, there's so many rules and regulations.
Well, I'm not saying. Yeah, well, come on. You use common sense. No one's suggesting, and I don't think anyone believes that you would teach a second grader about condoms. But I think there comes a certain point in time when children reach a certain age when you can teach them about condoms and they get the idea. The condom goes over the penis because the penis is used in sexual intercourse. It goes into the woman's vagina. Come on. We can figure this out. They do it in other countries. Why can't we do it here?
That's right.
Well, because that you talk about the blue hairs, when they get involved in it and they set the criterion, then you get to the point that it gets so muddled that you don't even
then that's your fault, and then that's my fault, and that's the fault of others who believe like we do because we don't get involved in the process.
Absolutely.
We don't support school board candidates who believe the way that we do. We don't go to the PTA meetings. We don't go to the school board meetings to listen to what they're saying, stand up and demand that they listen to us. Absolutely. It's really our fault more than theirs. You can't fault those people, whether you want to term them tight asses or blue hairs or religious freaks. To a certain degree, you have to give them credit because they are getting involved. You might not agree with their sense of morality or their particular beliefs, but credit where credit is due. At least they're getting involved where we're not.
Absolutely, and that's why we got security guards and metal detectors in our schools and not enough books.
Well, I don't know if that's the reason.
Yeah, well, we discipline our kids more and have more disciplinary problems in our school. The teachers spend more time with doing that than educating kids, and I think you're absolutely right that people need to get involved and get back to common sense.
Well, that's easy to say.
Well,
and it's easy for you to say, and it's easy for me to say. And to a certain degree, it's almost a platitude because we say it all the time. People need to take more responsibility for their actions. Just about everybody knows that, but how do you convince people to do that?
Well, I just got a daughter that graduated, and I can tell you that I had to put her in out of a public school into a private school, and it cost us dearly to do it. But I can't tell you the nonsense that she was going through.
I've heard it.
The type of education.
You're not telling me anything I haven't heard before. I hear it all the time from people who either are working a third shift to put their kids in private school or doing everything they can to get their kids in parochial school because they have no confidence in public schools anymore. I've heard it time and time again. And then there are people who say, I can't afford it, but I wish I could. If I could afford it, I'd put my kids in private school because you wouldn't believe what's going on in public schools. So what do you do?
Either get involved or shut up.
Well, I mean, if your kid's in public, yeah. Exactly.
And you have to learn how to do all of everything at the same time. You can't sacrifice sex education because the math and the reading skills are not up to par and say, well, if we can't teach them that, we can't teach them anything else, when you know you can.
417 on Real Radio 104.1 up in Lake County. They're apparently just beginning to consider policy changes in their sex education course. I guess Lake County had policies similar to those in Orange County, which is basically no sex education at all. It's primarily an abstinence-based curriculum. And there's nothing wrong with teaching sexual abstinence to young people. I mean, I think that is what we ought to be doing. But at the same time, we need to realize that in our society, there are young people who do engage in sexual intercourse no matter what we say. And we at least should arm them with the necessary information that they should have so they don't get sick or don't get killed or don't die. 417 on Real Radio 104.1. Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, I was just listening to what you were saying about the education. I'm coming up to graduate for elementary education at the local college. And we discuss a lot of what you're talking about on in our classrooms that we take our classes in, and our experiences outside in our internships. We're running into a lot of, it's not that we run into it, the teachers run into a lot of political stuff and a lot of non-support from the parents, as you are finding out about the sex education issue. And what's so funny about it is I've heard some people talk on your show about books not being there. These are the same people that probably vote down their property tax, which funds their local schooling, which means that they don't get the books.
Well, their attitude is simply show me these kids are learning something. That's when I'll give you more money. That's the attitude, and it's ridiculous. We have teachers who will call this program and say, "Look, I don't even have enough books for my kids. I don't even have chalk for the blackboards anymore." At least when we were going to school, when I was going to school, all those things were supplied. Teachers weren't sending notes home to my parents saying, "Hey, can you make a contribution so we can get some chalk for the blackboards?"
Right.
This is ridiculous.
But what I look at is these are the same parents that when I went to school, which is my parents and my students that were in my classes with me, my friends, their parents were very active in school. Even though they worked 2 jobs, single parents, and things of that nature, they were very active in that department, and I went to a poor area of school. Majority of the students were underprivileged, and their parents came in, or grandparents, or their legal guardians came into the schools. And we don't see that anymore. And
I don't know if you ever saw that. I'm not convinced we ever saw that. I think that's living in a dream world. I think although anybody says, well, back in the good old days, parents were more involved with their children's education, I think that's a fairy tale. I think it's a fable. I don't believe it. I think there's always been a certain percentage of parents who get involved directly with their children's education, but for the most part, vast majority of parents really don't.
Right.
Yeah, might help with a little homework here or there, but never really have any conferences with the teachers. Never go to the school, talk to the principal. Never check that much on their children's progress. Never go to school board meetings. None of that kind of stuff.
But isn't that a problem we see, though?
Well, of course, it's a problem.
My point is saying that if the parents or the guardians of these students would go and see what's going on in the classroom, then they could probably understand better at what is happening.
Yeah, they don't have time for that. They're playing highlight or going to the dogs. 420 on Real Radio 104.1. Telephone number to dial 64710. Yeah, who the hell wants to have a conference with a teacher when the highlight fronton is open? I mean, who wants to go to a school board meeting, when the dogs are running, or there's something good on TV? The hell with that.
And if nothing's happening, you can always just drink some Lysol. Did you you laugh.
No, what's that about? Lysol.
Yeah, I was watching a program last night, and a young Native American woman took us on a tour of the reservation of how her people live and what they do. And when they don't have enough money for liquor, they drink Lysol.
Oh, damn.
At least their breath smells good.
Yeah, they're all cleaned out.
Yeah, everything's real smooth. Oh, gee, I mean, I've been there before, but I'm not picking up a bottle of Lysol. That's a chronic.
Oh, no, not a bottle of Lysol, this aerosol.
Oh.
They take a nail and a brick, and they make a hole, and they get it out of there and drink it, pass it around.
Yeah, give me a bottle of liquid paper or something.
Really?
I want to say, well, damn, y'all ain't heard about
some Murphy's oil soap or something like that. And it goes down a hell of a lot smoother. Lysol. I got something better for you. What you need to do is head for Lococa. Forget the Lysol, forget the Murphy's oil soap. You don't want anything. You don't want anything like that. Please.
No, treat yourself right.
Indeed. 647-1041's the telephone number to dial. Long distance 1-800-443-1041. Dine tonight, tomorrow night maybe. At La Cogavan. It's simply a terrific restaurant, one of the best that you will find in Metro Orlando, really one of the best that you will find in the state of Florida. There is just no question about that. It's a terrific restaurant, a restaurant that serves up great provincial French type of cuisine. It is a restaurant that will change its menu on a seasonal basis, which is terrific. You could dine there tonight or tomorrow night at Le Cogavan and then return in 3 or 4 months and be presented with a completely different menu. Le Cogavan constantly rated in the top 5 restaurants in Central Florida, the top 20 statewide, recommended by just about every travel guide and restaurant magazine in print. And despite all their awards, Louis and his wife Magdalena, the Prots, know that they're really only as good as their last meal served. Open Tuesday through Friday, 11:30 to 2 for lunch. Tuesday through Sunday, 5:30 to 10 for dinner. Towards the weekend, you'd need to call and make a reservation. Otherwise, you will not get a table. 851-6980 and top off your meal, whether it's lunch or dinner, with a Grand Marnier souffle. You'll thank me for that. Good restaurants all over the place nowadays in Central Florida, but still only a handful of great ones. And among the great ones on South Orange, just south of Holden, the name, Le Cogavin.
You know, my cousin Tino says to me the other day, Vinny, why don't you do something with some freaking class for that snack time crap? You know, like something that rhymes and ends with the. Anything, just anything. I say to him, maybe when the stops belching up Fritos in my freaking family room. Then we fight for half an hour, break a few things, and pass out drunk. I guess it was actually a lot like what goes on here during the real snack time event. For the sake of comparison, put Phillips and the crew in spandex pants and velour shirts, and you got my in-laws. I'll let them decide who's going to wear the pussy goiter thing on their neck.
I'm telling you, from French food to Cuban food. Snack time in the Phillips file. That time of the afternoon, we take a little break and have a snack or two. Pepitos and Don Pepe sponsoring snack time this afternoon. We got some lechon asado, some beefsteak palomilla, and some arroz con bollo, plus some black bean soup, some red bean soup as well, all courtesy of Don Pepe's and Pepitos. Don Pepe's, the Kmart Plus.
Welcome to the FCC hotline. Dial 1 for licenses. Dial 2 for permits. Dial 3 for complaints about Real Radio 104.1.
My best friend Tony, what can I tell you? Greatest guy in the world, except he's never on time for anything.
Oh, hey, don't be mad, guys. I mean, nothing ever happens in the first half of a football game anyway, right?
We missed everything. We missed everything by at least 15 minutes.
Whew, I'm sorry.
Oh, and it's not that he's inconsiderate. For one thing, when he's late, he always buys the Heineken for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Which means he always buys the Heineken for us. And it's so predictable. I sometimes try to outsmart his lateness.
Really? The midnight movie starts at 11?
And he's lost, I don't know how many girlfriends because of it.
I really liked him, but I was tired of celebrating Christmas on the 26th.
But he's so likable, so willing to be there for you. You know, late as that may be, that you love the guy anyway.
When you're with a friend as good as Tony, why not have a beer as good as Heineken?
Anyway, I wanted Tony to confirm for you how strong our friendship really is, but Tony's not here yet. Has anybody seen Tony?
Heineken, making friends since 1864. Imported from Holland by Heineken USA, White Plains, New York.
Making America beautiful, quality you can see. You're making America beautiful when you're painting with MAB. MAB!
You can make your home more beautiful with quality paints and wall coverings from MAB. Why get stuck at one of those do-it-yourself warehouses when you can depend on MAB for professional service, expert advice, convenient locations, and great prices? In fact, MAB Paint is your best buy because you won't find this kind of quality at prices like these anywhere else. Right now, save on CWF Wood Finish, just $15.99 a gallon. Drive Hide Driveway Sealer, only $8.99 for 5 gallons. And bring home the unequaled quality of new MAB Seashore Satin House Paint, only from MAB Paints and Wall Coverings, making America beautiful since 1899.
You're making America beautiful when you're painting with MAB.
Real Radio 104.1. Fast traffic.
An accident on Turkey Lake north of Sand Lake Road, I-4 eastbound. It's running in pockets from Michigan to Lee Road. At 436 eastbound, it's slow from Oxford to 1792. Westbound, you'll find a 1 mile backup at least at 1792, and 434 is heavy in both directions at I-4. Good news, Bally's Health Club is now Bally Total Fitness, and since summer's they're off season right now, you can get the lowest prices of the year. Call 1-800-FITNESS today. I'm Justine Moody on your only FM source for 24-hour traffic, Real Radio 104.1.
Hey, a steak and fresh Maine lobster.